Hi, my name is Hannah Schrack, and this is a presentation on my paper about gender bias in leadership roles. So, my question is gender bias in leadership roles still prevalent in today's society? So, for years, there's been a glass ceiling that women can't seem to break through. The glass ceiling prevents organizations from reaching their full potential by denying the benefits of gender diversity in their leadership roles. It seems that us as a society have made great strides towards gender equality, but with all the strides being made, it brings us to the question, is gender bias in leadership roles still prevalent today? This is an important topic because this is something that women in society face every day, and it's important to look at the research and see what's actually going on and all the facts behind the gender bias and the reason if it is or is not still occurring today. So, in the article, Advancing the Nursing Profession, Johnson states that nursing is predominantly female profession with only 10 to 11% of nurses being male. That being said, there is a disproportionate number of male nurses that make it to leadership roles as opposed to female nurses. And so Johnson brings the question, why is this? She thinks that maybe it's because males tend to have more assertive, direct, driven, and a competitive nature, or that it could be due to like common interests and the ability for men to socialize with other men. And because there are many women who possess the same traits of like competitiveness and drive and being assertive, but they are still at a disadvantage moving up in their positions. The article Women in Leadership and the Bewildering Glass Ceiling discusses Hillary Clinton's failed presidential bid. Hillary, who was very qualified given her past as a state senator and secretary of state, lost to a man who had never held a public office position and had little to no political experience. Was this because she was a woman and he's a man? Throughout the campaign, Clinton was under constant attack. Many of the, questioning her stamina, and her opponent's stamina was never questioned. This was a clear implication that as a woman, she was too weak for the job. This is a great example of sexism that goes on in the corporate world every day, just on a larger scale, where people noticed it. So, women earn approximately 60% of all bachelor's and master's degrees and approximately 50% of doctoral degrees. Even with these advanced degrees and qualifications, it is still hard to come by a woman in a leadership role, such as a CEO, a board member, or president. This ties into what Johnson had stated about nursing being female dominated, but male nurses are still chosen for leadership positions over females. The articles Women in Leadership and the Bewildering Glass Ceiling and The Glass Ceiling is Breaking, Now What? Both discuss the benefits of having more women in leadership positions. According to Chisholm Burns, studies conducted across the globe have found that the inclusion of women in business leadership has significantly improved factors such as firm value, financial performance, economic growth, innovation, insolvency risk, and social responsiveness and philanthropy. Chisholm Burn asked then, why does the presence of women make such an impact? Because increased diversity is needed to combat homogeneity of ideas. Too much sameness stifles critical thinking and breeds complacence and overconfidence. With these statistics proving the benefits of companies who have women in leadership positions, one would think that companies would see this more and more women would be able to rise to positions of powers, but that does not seem to be the case. So to answer my question from the beginning, yes, absolutely, gender bias is still prevalent today. For example, only 5.4% of Fortune 500 CEOs are women. According to Chisholm Burns, among Fortune 500 and S&P 500 companies, women represent only 4 to 5% of CEOs and hold less than 25% of executive and senior level positions and less than 20% of board seats. Both of these statistics prove that it's still significantly more difficult for women to rise to a position of power. Women are 30% less likely to be promoted from an entry-level position to a managerial position. Not only is it more difficult for women to become leadership positions, such as CEO and president, but a woman is also less likely to get promoted to a manager position than a man. Research shows that gender bias is still happening, but there's nothing to indicate that any real work is being done to fix this. There's still a significant wage gap, and people like to ignore this very real problem. It is hard to change people's way of thinking, and this is something that over time women will have to continue fighting for and working hard to achieve. In conclusion, yes, gender bias is still very prevalent in today's society. Given the statistics mentioned above, we as a society have a long way to go to fully reach gender equality. There are many different factors that go into promotions and who will rise to the power positions, but according to the statistics, even women who are just as qualified with advanced degrees are still overlooked and lose the position to a man. The future is still bright for women, and as more and more women are able to break the glass ceiling, the more normal it will be for women to hold positions such as CEO or president. Here's my references.